Good morning, dear students. I welcome you all for the day 6 session. Today we are going to see the second poem. The title of the poem is The Wind, written by Subramanian Bharati. In this poem, we have two authors. We are going to see two authors. The original author that was written the poem in Tamil is by Subramanian Bharati, and it was translated from Tamil by A.K. Ramanujan. This is the second author. He is the second poet who translated the Wind poem that was in Tamil to English by our author A.K. Ramanujan. So today we are going to see the poem The Wind. So let's see the author's description here. The original author of the poem, second author, that is translated into Tamil into English by our author, second author A.K. Ramanujan. So the original name of the Ramanujan, the full abbreviation of A.K. is Attipet Krishnaswamy Ramanujan, popularly known as A.K. Ramanujan. That was called A.K. is the short form. The abbreviation of the short form is Attipet Krishnaswamy Ramanujan. He was an Indian poet and a scholar of Indian literature who wrote in both English and Kannada. Ramanujan was a poet, scholar, professor, psychologist, a folklorist, translator and a playwright. He was born in the year 16th March 1929 in Mysuru, and he was died in 13 July 1993 in Chicago, Illinois, United States. The full name of the author A.K. represents Attipet Krishnaswamy Ramanujan. That's all from the author. Let's see the next one. About the poet Subramanian Bharati, our first poet who wrote this poem in Tamil, Chinnaswamy Subramanian Bharati, his full name, also known as Bharatiyar. He was called in Tamil as Bharatiyar as his short name. He was a Tamil writer, poet, journalist, and Indian independent activist, a social reformer, and a polyglot. What does mean by polyglot? Polyglot means a person who can speak several languages, who knows several languages is called polyglot. So he is a polyglot and popularly known as Mahakavi Bharatiyar. That is Mahakavi Bharati. He was a pioneer of modern Tamil poetry. This was about our Chinnaswamy Subramanian Bharatiyar. Let's see the next one. The summary of the poem, The Wind by Subramanian Bharati. The poem describes the power of the wind. Here, in this poem, we are going to see about the power of the wind and on nature. So, we are going to see both the nature and the human life. Here they are comparing nature with the human life. So, the poem describes the power of the wind on nature and human being, both on nature and human being. It focuses on the violent aspect. So how the wind is violently destroying the things when it is very aggressive. So violent aspect of a wind that causes heavy destruction. So far we have seen so many wind, that is, we have seen so many destruction that was caused by so many storms. So wind is nothing but a storm. Heavy wind is called storm. The poet tells us that the wind makes fun of the weak people. So here the poet is describing and portraying a picture of the wind that makes make a fun on the weak people. That is, here people means not only people and even things. So if a storm attacks a place, definitely there will be lot of destruction, um, not only for people but also things. That is called, so we people are weaker in front of the heavy storm. So here they are explaining as people, the human being as a weak person. So weak people and weak things. So it is making a fun over the weak people and the weak things, but favors on the strong. What is mean by but favors on the strong? It never distract the strong object. It cannot attack the strong objects like trees. Not only trees, if it is a large big trees, it cannot be distracted by the storm. So here the strong, the wind favors on the strong, but it makes fun on the weak people and things. That's all from the summary of the poem. Let's see the short summary again. The poem Wind by Subramanya Bharati is originally in Tamil. I already told you this. Our first author, he is R. Subramanya Bharati. He wrote this poem in Tamil. It was translated in English by A.K. Ramanujan. That I was told already. The same thing it was given here. The poem describes the power of wind on nature and human being. See the last line here from here. He therefore suggests. So what he came to describe here, what is the final touch of the poem? This is for what? This is for what reason they are telling about the wind. The reason is behind this. He therefore suggests that the reader, as the reader, we are the reader, the audience, he is conveying some message to the audience, the reader, be strong. So we must be strong. We should not be very weak. Even though, see here, both in physical and mental. So wind is like our problems. So humans should be strong. The human people, human life, we have so many struggles and obstacles, ups and downs in our life. So we should be, as a reader, human being, or as a reader, the people, we should be strong both in physically and mentally. So the final conclusion of the poem is it is the advice given to the human being that we should be both physically and mentally strong. And the wind here is a symbol of hardship. So as I told you before, the wind is the symbol of hardship. What is meant by hardships? The troubles, problems, whatever we are facing in our daily life as human being. Each, not only for human being, for every animal or bird, whatever the creation in the world, we have some problems, we have some hardships in our life. So wind here is the symbol of hardship and obstacles which human beings have to face in their life. So we are facing each and every day in our daily life. So if we remain strong, so here the final touch of the author, he is portraying that he is giving some advice that as human being we should remain strong and we can overcome all the obstacles. So when we become strong, definitely we can overcome our obstacles and our hardships. So this was the final suggestion, final advice that was given in the poem by the poem The Wind. That's all from the summary of the poem. Let's see the stanza-wise explanation. The first stanza. Wind come softly. Don't break the shutters of the windows. Don't scatter the paper. Don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the book. You brought rain again. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. So this was the first stanza of our poem The Wind. Let's see the glossary of words. Glossary words here. Poking fun. What does it mean? Poking fun. Making fun of something. Making fun of something is called poking fun. Weaklings. I told you weak people and on weak things. So weakling means a person who is weak. This is the two glossary words from the first stanza. Let's see the explanation of the first stanza here. The poet is talking to the wind. So who is talking to the wind here? The poet is talking to the wind. He asks the wind to come softly. So the poet is talking here to the wind. So the next line, so he is saying that the wind should not be strong. So here the author is requesting to the wind, that is the storm, that it should not be very strong. It should be very soft. It should not be strong and loud. He is requesting to come to asking the wind to come softly. It should be soft and subtle. Subtle means soft. That is mild. It should be soft and subtle. Then he says that the wind is very powerful. It is destructive. So wind is called as a destructive. Wind is having a destructive nature. So if it is a mild wind, it will be pleasant. If it is a powerful wind, definitely it will create lot of destruction and it will make some problems everywhere. So it breaks the shutters. So what are the things it is doing? What are the destructive things it is doing? That we are going to see here. It breaks the shutters. Shutters means the doors of the window. Shutters means what we called as, we will have a wooden windows. Sometimes we can see somewhere some mirror windows, glass windows. So the wind, strong wind or storm, it is breaking the shutters of the window. So this is one type of destruction. So the next destruction is scatters the paper everywhere. Yeah, definitely when you see the storm or wind, definitely we can see the dust and small little weightless particle will throw here and there and it will float everywhere. So it scatters. So it will take away the paper, small papers everywhere in the storm, so along with the storm. When the wind is very powerful, all the books which are kept on the shelf will fall down, definitely. So if the wind is storm is very harsh and very strong, definitely even it can move the books and it will throw the books everywhere from the shelf, and definitely all the books will fall down. So here the poet is describing the power of the wind. So in this stanza the poet is describing the power of the wind, and he is requesting the wind to blow softly, not to distract, not to destroy the things, not to make much destruction. Then he says the wind to look at the destruction. So again he is asking the wind to look at the destruction what he had done in the to the people, to the weak people, weak things. So that it had done to the people, weak things. So he is asking, requesting the wind to see and to look after his destruction, what it was done to the weak people. So whenever there is a strong wind, all the thing that are all weak means it is weightless things like papers, dust and everywhere, even leaves, mud, sand, everything can be carried by the strong wind. Like small plants, even small plants cannot survive in the storm. And tiny children, see the small children, even so here they are comparing both the living things and the non-living things, and the human beings and the plants. So the nature and the human beings are compared here to the wind. So small plants as well as tiny children also compared here. They all get scared. So whenever we used to get a strong wind or storm, definitely a human being will get scared and they can even fall and get hurt. So definitely they'll even fall while they are running towards their home. They will get hurt we can say that in the initial part of the poem. So the poet is referring to the wind as a young child. So in the beginning, he is referring the wind to be as a young child. That is to be very soft. How the young child will be? They'll be very soft. They won't be very harsh, and they won't do any hard, strong things. They cannot carry strong things. So the poet is requesting, and is giving a obligation that the wind should be very soft and it should be like a young child. So he is saying that it should not come softly, it should come softly just like a small child does. So here they are directly, he is comparing this wind as to be as a small child. In later part, he came to know that the wind is destructive just like a young. So when they are grown up, definitely they can do so many things. They can carry a heavy things on their own. So if the end is become young, that is it is like adolescent or adult, it become an adult, definitely it can destruct more things. And as such, even it is compared to the human being also, just like a human boy, young boy or a young girl who is full of energy. So definitely after they are grown up, as they become young, definitely they'll get some energy, violence, they'll become violent, they'll do some harsh strong things, they will throw the things everywhere, even if it is carryable or not carryable by them, they will try to do the things immediately. So that is what violently they'll do the things, and there will be some destruction by the young children. So the author is telling here the wind should be as a young child, not be as a young boy. So the author is telling that it should be like a child, not should be a boy or girl. Start the second stanza now. Frail crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. So this was the second stanza. What is meant by crumbling? The glossary words are here. Crumbling means falling or to cause something to break. That means hit on something and make the object break. So this is called crumbling, falling on something and cause the thing to be broken. So this is called crumbling. That means hit on some objects, hitting on this object and making the object to be broken. Then the next one is rafter. What is meant by rafter? Sloping beam which support the roof of the building. Sloping beam which supports. So this we can see even in so many houses. So a roof or a bar that or a beam that used to support the roof of the building. That is, it can be in balcony, it can be in the front open area of the house. So this is called rafter. So let's see the explanation here. Here the word crumbling, it's repeating so many times to lay stress. So why the word it is repeated in the second stanza again and again? It is showing the stress. That is crumbling. It is breaking all the things, not even leaving a single things. It is crumbling all the things and lay stress that everything crumbles. Everything has been broken in the face of a strong wind. That is, our strong wind means here it means a storm. So storm that it is very heavy and powerful. Once it hit on an object, definitely the objects and the place will be definitely scrambled and scattered. All the things will be scattered everywhere. So the writer is saying that when the wind is very powerful, it is very strong. So when the wind is very powerful, it is very strong. That is it means storm. It leads to a breakage of everything. When a wind is very strong, definitely there will be so many disaster, and the things will be definitely, the place will be chaos. So the place will be definitely a chaos. The houses which are weak, So if it is a strong house, definitely it can be it can stand, it can tackle, it can capable to stand. When the houses are very weak, that is like our roof, normal roof of with slates, roof and a house with slates, definitely it will not be capable, and it definitely break, it will make a severe damage for the houses. So when the house are weak, and they definitely will fall, and the doors which are weak, and they'll fall, all the beams of the roofs and the buildings where are supported, they also fall. Even the roof can fall because of the heavy storm. All the wooden structures fall. All the wooden structures means all the table, chair, all the furnitures will also can be broken, and all the bodies of people fall. So bodies means here human also can be destroyed. If the people are inside the house, definitely if it is a weak house, the because of the storm, definitely it will make damages to the human life also. So here they are telling that there will be a destruction for not only for the objects, house and trees, but also for human beings also there will be a severe destruction, and animals also will die. Lives and hearts, so many lives will lost. So people, animals, birds, all the living things will be destroyed, all the hearts will be broken. So here they are portraying that there will be a severe disaster. If it is a heavy and strong storm, definitely there will be, the place will be completely chaos. So he is saying that everything crumbles, everything is weak, everything that is weak. If this house, if the animals, if the human beings are in a strong place, inside a strong roof, definitely they will be safe. But if it is weak, definitely the problem will be very difficult. So reacts by falling down and breaking into in the phases of the adversity. So adversity means the worst. It will become a worst situation that ever been before. So the poet is saying that whenever a weak person faces any adversity, so here again they are portraying not a wind but problems that we are facing in our life. If the weak person is facing the problem or challenge in life, he breaks and fall down. So if the weak person is facing such problem and difficulties in their life, definitely they will fall down and they will lose their life. If the person who is strong to manage the problems, whatever the problem, even it is storm or light wind or strong wind, no problem, you must be very strong and you should not be weak. Thus this is portraying the human life. Start the second stanza now. Frail crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. So this was the second stanza. What is meant by crumbling? The glossary words are here. Crumbling means falling or to cause something to break. That means hit on something and make the object break. So this is called crumbling, falling on something and cause the thing to be broken. So this is called crumbling. That means hit on some objects, hitting on this object and making the object to be broken. Then the next one is rafter. What is mean by rafter? Sloping beam which support the roof of the building. Sloping beam which supports. So this we can see even in so many houses. So a roof or a bar that or a beam that used to support the roof of the building, that is, it can be in balcony, it can be in the front open area of the house. So this is called rafter. So let's see the explanation here. Here the word crumbling, it's repeating so many times to lay stress. So why the word it is repeated in the second stanza again and again? It is showing the stress that is crumbling. It is breaking all the things, not even a small, not even leaving a single things. It is crumbling all the things, and lay stress that everything crumbles. Everything has been broken in the face of a strong wind. That is, our strong wind means here it means a storm. So storm that it is very heavy and powerful. Once it hit on an object, definitely the objects and the place will be definitely scrambled and scattered. All the things will be scattered everywhere. So the writer is saying that when the wind is very powerful, it is very strong. So when the wind is very powerful, it is very strong. That is it means storm. It leads to a breakage of everything. When a wind is very strong, definitely there will be so many disaster, and the things will be definitely, the place will be chaos. So the place will be definitely a chaos. The houses which are weak. So if it is a strong house, definitely it can stand, it can tackle, it can capable to stand. When the houses are very weak, that is like our roof, normal roof of with slates, roof and a house with slates, definitely it will not be capable, and it definitely break, it will make a severe damage for the houses. So when the house are weak, and they definitely will fall, and the doors which are weak, and they'll fall, all the beams of the roofs and the buildings where are supported, they also fall. Even the roof can fall because of the heavy storm. All the wooden structures fall. All the wooden structures means all the table, chair, all the furnitures will also can be broken, and all the bodies of people fall. So bodies means here human also can be destroyed. If the people are inside the house, definitely if it is a weak house, because of the storm, definitely it will make damages to the human life also. So here they are telling that there will be a destruction for not only for the objects, house and trees, but also for human beings also. There will be a severe destruction, and animals also will die. Lives and hearts, so many lives will lost. So people, animals, birds, all the living things will be destroyed. All the hearts will be broken. So here they are portraying that there will be a severe disaster. If it is a heavy and strong storm, definitely the place will be completely chaos. So he is saying that everything crumbles, everything is weak, everything that is weak. If this house, if the animals, if the human beings are in a strong place, inside a strong roof, definitely they will be safe. But if it is weak, definitely the problem will be very difficult. So reacts by falling down and breaking in the faces of the adversity. So adversity means the worst. It will become a worst situation that ever been before. So the poet is saying that whenever a weak person faces any adversity, so here again they are portraying not a wind but problems that we are facing in our life. If the weak person is facing the problem or challenge in life, he breaks and fall down. So if the weak person is facing such problem and difficulties in their life, definitely they will fall down and they will lose their life. If the person who is strong to manage the problems, whatever the problem, even it is storm or light wind or strong wind, no problem, you must be very strong and you should not be weak. This is portraying the human life along with the wind. Let's see the third stanza here. The first line of the third stanza. He won't do what you tell him. So here the author is telling. So the first in the beginning, in the first stanza, we saw that he is requesting the wind to blow softly. So here he is telling that he won't do what you tell him. So the author is telling to to the wind god that he won't follow, he won't do, he won't obey what you are telling to him. So come, let's build the strong home. So to avoid the destruction from the strong wind, that is storm, what are the precautionary steps we need to do as a human being? That is in the third stanza here. So come, let's build strong homes. Here the author is telling to the audience, that is to the reader, that to the public, as like people who are reading the poem, to those people he is insisting that we have to build strong homes to avoid the destruction. When it is weak, definitely for the strong, that definitely it will fall down and it will make so many lives will be spoiled. So to avoid that, we have to build strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly. So what does it mean? He is telling to close the doors firmly. Don't don't open the doors when the wind is blowing very harshly and that is strongly. Practice to firm the body. Practice to firm the body means practice to make your body fit. So you must be fit enough to face the problems. So far the two lines it is for the house. See here for the human being, these two lines he is telling, make your heart stand first. Stand first means firm, that is strong. We should be strong enough physically and mentally. That's what I told you before in the first stanza. So as body physically and mentally, that means inner part of the body, heart. So physically and mentally we have to be strong. That is stand first. Firm means strong. That to face the problems, face the storm, that is strong wind. Do this. So he is telling, insisting the people to do and follow this instruction, and the wind will be a friend with us. So if you do all the things, if you follow all this instruction, definitely the wind will become a friend for you. This is the second stanza. Let's see the explanation of the third stanza. The poet wants us to make friends. So in the third stanza, the author is advising to the public, to the reader, to the human being, that treat the wind as your friend. To avoid to make the wind as friend, you should take some steps. So the poet wants us to make friends with the wind. That is, what does it mean? It advertises in order lives. Adversities means dangers, distractions. To avoid, to safeguard the life of the people, we have to be friend with the wind. He says that the problem will not listen to us. They will come, so we should be prepared. So whenever the storm or strong wind blows, we must be prepared. We must be very cautious and alert. In preparation, what are the things to be done by our side? In preparation, we should build strong houses. We have to build strong houses and close the doors. That is, here we have seen just join the doors firmly. That means we have to close the doors of our house firmly. Firmly means tightly. Close the windows and doors. It should not be open when the wind is blowing strongly, so that the wind cannot get into. So if it is closed, definitely the wind will not come inside, and it will not scatter the paper, it will not throw the books down from the shelf. Definitely it will become a friend to us. And then he says that we should also make our bodies strong, hearts firm, and to face the challenges. So this is for human being, as for our people, he is telling that we should make our body, heart, everything strong to face the challenges. Challenges means here the problems, obstacles, hardships, what we are facing in our daily life. And then once we are strong, when we are strong enough, all the challenges will be like friends. So here for human being, again advice to from the author side, that when you are strong enough to you can face the challenges like your friend. It will not feel that they are all troublesome. We won't feel that it will be a difficult one. Definitely we'll take it as easy, and we can tackle, we can do the things easily as our wish. That's all from the third stanza. Let's see the fourth stanza now. The wind blows out weak fires. Here, how the wind will act with the fire. So far we have seen about the trees, people, how it is reacting. For winnowing process it is helping. So in the last stanza we are seeing that how the wind is blows and it makes the fire weak. It blow over the fire and makes it out weak. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. He makes strong fire roar and flourish. If it is a strong fire, it will definitely increase. If the wind blows, it will spread out all the area and it will destroy the things and objects everywhere. If it is weak fire, definitely it will make the, if it is weak fire, when the wind blows, definitely it won't be spreadable. Definitely it will be reduced and it will make it won't make any destructive things. His friendship is good. So we should maintain a friendship with wind and we should maintain friendship with the wind. So if we be as a friend, definitely it won't make any problem. It won't make any destructive things. So he is asking the reader to be friend with the wind. So his friendship is good. So it is good for, definitely it is good for the human being. When we are friend with wind, definitely it will helpful for us. We praise him every day. We should praise that wind every day. This is what the fourth stanza. See the explanation here. The poet has kept the wind on a pedestal. Pedestal means he is portraying and he is just picturizing it. Here the word pedestal means is a base on which a column or statue that is standing. Here the poet is placing the wind in the center area and make it stand like a statue. He is comparing the wind to God. So how the God statue will stand. So here the God, here the wind. He is placing both the wind and God straightly as a statue. He says that wind is a God. So he is comparing wind is a God. We praise wind every day. We have to praise wind. So usually in the so many religion, people used to praise all the natural creation things, natural things like air, water, soil, wind. So all these things we used to say that 5 supernatural powers. So 5 supernatural powers usually people will worship like a god. So here the poet is also telling that wind is a god and we have to worship and praise every day. He adds that everything that is weak and gets finished off in the face of a strong wind. So definitely if it is a strong wind, everything will be spoiled, and if it is weak, it will be offed. It will be reduced so somewhat, and all the things that are strong flourish and grow to become stronger. If it is a strong wind, definitely it will spread out everywhere. It will make a big disaster. If it is weak, definitely it will be reduced, and if the wind blows over the weak fire, definitely it will reduce. There won't be a big destruction anywhere. He is giving us a very important message. Here the message, and he is telling from the wind, that is that we should not feel bad, that we should not be feel bad, that we are facing so many challenges. So if when we feel challenged, we should not, when we should not feel bad that we are facing so many challenges and adversities in life. So we should not feel bad if even though each and every people, they are facing so many problem in their life. When you feel when you be there in that situation, don't feel bad and just face the challenges with your whole willpower. That is what here the author is telling, a message to the public, to the reader. We should make ourselves physically and mentally strong to face the challenges. We should be strong enough to physically and mentally both to face our challenges. And once we are strong enough, we will overcome the challenges. We will become friends with them. Then we will be happy that we had these challenges in our life, because they help us to become stronger. Without the challenges, definitely we won't become stronger. When we face the challenges, it will improve our strength, and it will create some boldness inside us, and we definitely create stronger feeling inside us. So everyone should face the challenges in life. Don't be weak, and we should face it as strongly and bolder than enough. That's all from the poetry stanza. Let's see the literary device from the poem. First is it is rhyming scheme. The entire poem is written in a free verse. It is not with the rhyming scheme. There is no rhyme scheme in the poem. So literary device used are all as follows. So these are the literary devices we are going to see here. First one is anaphora. Already we have seen about this. When a word is repeated at the start of two or more consecutive lines, it is the device of anaphora. That is 2, 3, 4 begin with don't. So in second line there is a word with don't. Third line in the within a single stanza, if the same word repeated again and again in the sequence next consecutive lines, like third line, second line, fourth line, don't, and sixth and seventh, eighth line begins with you. So this is called anaphora. Let's see the next one, personification. So this is the second literary device, personification. Wind has been personified. So wind is compared to the human being here. When the poet says you, here you, that is compared, the wind is compared like a human, that like a living being. So here it is personified, and it is given a it is portraying as a human character. So wind is a supernatural power. It is compared as it is shown as a human being. So it is personified. You are, that is wind. It is telling about the wind. He is referring the wind as you. That means he is treating wind as a person. So at last, in the last line, we have seen clearly that here the poet wind is compared as portraying as a person, human being. So the non-living things which are compared as a portrait as a person is called personification. Then the third literary device is repetition. Repetition in the second stanza we have seen crumbling everywhere. So many, in all the lines we have seen the same word crumbling that was repeated many times and lay the emphasis. That is stressing the word again and again. So the poet wants to say the wind crushes everything that is weak. That's why he repeats the word crumbling again and again. If a word is repeated again and again in a sentence, then it is called repetition. This is a third literary device. Let's see the next literary device, fourth one, alliteration. What is called alliteration? The repetition of a consonant sound with close connection. That is W, wind, winnows, won't, want. So same consonant sounds when it is repeated in the first letter. So it is called alliteration. Same consonant sounds that starts with the same word, same line again and again. It is called alliteration. This is the fourth literary device. Let's see the last and final literary device is symbolism. What is really symbolism? Symbolism means that the things refers to some other thing. That's symbolizing. Wind is a symbol. Here wind is shown as a symbol. It refers to the challenges of the life. Yes. So wind that may, if it is strong, it will destroy less, the destruction will be less. If it is weak, the destruction will be less. If it is strong, definitely there will be a huge destruction. So here the wind is compared to the human being as their challenges, as their obstacles and hardships in life. So here the symbolization, wind is compared to the challenges of human life. So wind is a supernatural power, here challenges for human beings. So here both were compared as a symbol. Wind is like a symbol. He is using wind as a symbol for the adversities. Adversities means dangers in our life. Wind is compared as a symbol for as a danger in our life. That's all from the literary device of the poem. That's all from the poem. So if you try to find out the answers for the questions, already I have given you the PDF file. So kindly go through it and see the questions given in the textbook. Find out the answers and try to post your answers in the group. Thank you, and again, thank you one and all, and once again.